completely different atmosphere, and this is really giving lots of hopes and encouragement to all the business and trade community. And we can see the whole community is willing to work on this new basis and new chapter of relation between the three countries.
From your point of view, Seb, why do you think, or do you really think that this visit by the irrigation minister or by Dr. Hussein Moghazi here was really necessary to inspect what is the situation there, or how do you view this visit?
Well, I cannot really comment from the technical side. I'm not an expert in
Definitely.
water. You have, your guest is one of the
best,
very remarkable water experts in Egypt. But what I can comment on, we really see the willingness between the three countries on solving the issue really in a completely different way than what we have seen in the past. And this is really giving a really good sign that we are finally on the right track after all. And we're hoping for all those experts, including the water ministers, together after the dam visit. And I think also this visit by itself, it gives a great evidence that the Ethiopians are willing to work on this issue with an open heart. At the same time, really what I can really observe, and not only myself, even all the people and all the businessmen and companies working in Ethiopia, that this is really, the new relation is going to be based on mutual interest. And this is what really we need to work on from this point on.
Dr. Ayman, finally here, Egypt has always, or after the revolution, the two revolutions, Egypt has always insisted on its new rapprochement towards Africa. From your point of view, do you think that solving this dispute between Egypt and Ethiopia would really affect or reflect on the return back of Egypt to Africa? And from your point of view, what is your expectation to the sidelines meeting between President Sisi and the Ethiopian Prime Minister in New York?
I have really to tell you honestly that the water issue is being really, I cannot really say it has a direct effect on all the efforts and in the economics and business and investment in generally, but definitely we have an indirect effect, not only with Ethiopia, but also even towards Africa itself. Putting aside this file and approaching an acceptable result for all the three countries, it definitely will encourage Egypt and even will be a big push to the front about the other files and other areas of cooperation between Ethiopia and other African countries. Water has been an issue now and then, and we're hoping with the new vision, especially after Egypt had a new administration and fresh new president, understanding the circumstances and open our hearts to work deeply with our friends and brothers and friends in the Ethiopia and also in other African countries in getting this water issue solved. I think the first meeting between President Sisi and Prime Minister, Ethiopian Prime Minister Nolabo during the summit of the African Union, it actually did open the door. And I think the second meeting expected to, they were going to meet in New York, the United Nations Assembly, I believe. It will also put more, it will emphasize more on the results so far. And I believe the agreement on the presidential visit of the Egyptian president to Ethiopia, it will also be agreed upon during this visit, as far as I know.
Right. Dr. Ayman Isa, Chairman of the Egyptian-Ethiopian Business Council, we thank you very much for joining us. Before we resume our discussion, Dr. Qosy, let me first have a quick report on the new two Chinese dams, or these two dams that are being built by China and Ethiopia, and come back for discussion.
Okay.
A consortium of Ethiopia-China companies had been awarded a contract by the Ethiopian government to build a 385 megawatts Diaa 1 and 2 hydroelectric complex at the Diaa River in western part of the African country. The Ethiopian Water Ministry confirmed that a local firm called Surconstruction and two Chinese companies had signed a contract with the Ethiopian government to build a dam on the Diaa tributary in the Baro Akobo River basin of Ethiopia. The multi-purpose dam estimated cost of $583 million will be covered by a loan from the government of China. The project is expected to be finalized within next 4 years. The complex includes Diaa 1 and Diaa 2 with a head of 480 meters and 267 meters and average annual generation of 935 gigawatt hours and 853 gigawatt hours respectively. It is a project for which the power ultimately had been looking for constructors and financing since October 2008. When it sought for expressions of interest by the end of November that year, the specification it gave for the dams were 240 megawatt for Diaa and one with a head of 480 meter and 157 for Diaa 2 with a head of 267 million. The average annual generation of the two was given as 935 gigawatts hours and 853 gigawatts hours, respectively, with a 206 cost estimated of $295 million and $124 million. The idea was first incepted in 2005 when a feasibility study was conducted by two Norwegian consulting firms in association with two other local firms. But it was updated in 2012. The Diaa complex was among the 22 projects in Ethiopia, Egypt and Sudan that were examined by the consultant around a decade ago as part of the African Development Bank-funded Eastern Nile Power Trade Program ENPTP study.
Right, welcome back, and back to you, Dr. Qosy, and we were speaking about the dam. Now, we said that this is the fourth round of negotiations. We are also saying that there is this committee of 12 experts who are now addressing the situation from all aspects. From your point of view, how do you view, or after this commission come out with its final report, and there will be definitely a kind of problem for Egypt. Let's speak frankly, there will be a problem for Egypt. How do you think Egypt can address such a problem? How do you think, what kind of options does Egypt have in hand, and what can Egypt do?
Well, it's a complicated question. It's a complicated situation. In general, we've heard right now about this new
two
dams
yes,
that are going to be constructed on the Sobat, River Sobat. River Sobat is again one of the tributaries of the Nile, although it comes from the south of Sudan. Yet it also generates some good quantity of water. But the timing of awarding these contracts to a Chinese company is, I don't want anybody to tell me that the reservoir is small, the generated electricity is that it has, all these things has to be discussed on the table. The idea here is that it is very important for the Ethiopians to know that they are on an international river. This river is not there. The river Nile is a river of all the Nile Basin countries.
Exactly.
And they can hardly understand it. But let's go back to the negotiation table and see what's going to happen after the consulting house. I believe that, number one, as I said, if we take too much time in selecting the consulting house, then this is should not be
a waste of time.
Yeah.
And it comes in the interest of the Ethiopian side.
It should not be accepted by the Egyptian party. Number two, after we have a limit period of time that is 6 months, as agreed upon in the previous round of negotiations, and within 6 months we'll have some reports from this consultant. And most probably, because the Egyptians are not raising heaven and earth for fun, we know very well that a dam of this size is going to affect us heavily, strongly, and significantly. So with this situation, go back to Ethiopia and tell them, you rushed to build your dam. You have to maybe to cut